want him to release music, but he must do everything in English.
Yeah, and learn our languages properly, guys.
Okay.
If I wanted to connect to the Afrikaans market and I started just throwing away Meitani, young people, African people will look at me like, you know what I'm saying? African people will look at me like, this guy doesn't respect us.
Yeah.
And you guys know that. If I started doing that to connect with the Afrikaans market, they'd be like, this guy thinks we're fucking fools.
Yeah.
But a white guy does that, and he does you guys, and you guys think that shit is dope.
And it's okay.
It's the exact same insult.
Yeah.
What's the term? Black appropriation?
It's cultural appropriation.
Cultural
of the highest level from the shortest guy.
Damn.
Wow. To another hot episode of the POPcast. My name is Miss Cosmo, as it is every single week. Hanging out with my homie Moochie.
What's going on?
What's hot?
I'm chilling. I'm out here. We're at a cool venue today.
Yes.
I want to say that last week's episode, shout out Jovis one time. But, it was very warm when we were shooting. And I remember somebody coming to think, is that guy okay? So shout out DJ Jovis one time. I hope you're okay. Much cooler where you are. It's a much cooler venue we're at today, of course.
Yes, indeed. And I can see you out here summer timing it out.
Wabona. Sun's out, time's out. Dogs are barking when I'm walking past.
The knees are showing out today.
Kifit, don't look at me. This is, every day is leg day on this side.
I'm not so sure about that one, Moochie. Anyway, we do have an awesome guest today. Tools Madala, how you doing?
I'm easy. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Sorry,
good to see you.
Yeah.
And good to see you on this side of the screen, because obviously previously we were seeing you in other spaces and other cameras.
Not even good.
Other cameras were focused on you.
24 hours a day.
Hey, dog, in the shower. Taking a shit.
Oh,
That's
no.
why
Did you have to find like awkward ways to kind of get that right?
Look, I had to balance understanding how to shower, get dressed with your underwear on the whole time. Because if not, you gotta take your shit off.
And kind of how long were you in there for?
73 days.
Yo.
73 days.
So 73 days would be washing your under.
Listen, every day, it's either ngeza under or baboni PPM. Choose one.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Those nudes last forever.
My nigga.
That was a master. What you do?
Tricky. But of course, we are gonna have ourselves an awesome show for today. We are shooting at the Royale in Craig Hall.
Yes, sir.
So if you've been out here, you know this place is very vibey on the weekend, but also during the week, nice restaurants, awesome menu. They've actually just re-upped on the menu as well. The food is really great. So I think even after shooting here, I think I might just grab myself a little bit of a takeaway or something. But do come through, check it out, the Royale in Craig Hall. Like I said, the weekend, booming. All right, so let's get straight into what's hot and happening and what happened this past week. Spring Fiesta. Back again after a 2-year hiatus, obviously because of COVID. A lot of big events weren't able to kind of operate because of COVID restrictions. And the tricky part for Spring Fiesta shame is that they actually wanted to celebrate 10 years of Spring Fiesta in 2020.
Oh my goodness.
And then COVID said, not today, honey. So they had all these like big ideas of what they wanted to do for their 10-year celebration, and then but they brought it back this past week, and shout outs to the guys. They did a full-on local lineup, because typically they have internationals that come through, whether it be international DJs or maybe sometimes it's international performers. This year they said, shout outs to South Africa. We are what we are sending to the world. So rather celebrate what's happening within the local scene. And yeah, man, it was dope to see everybody out there. AKA had a fire performance. And I think everybody who came through was excited to kind of be outside, especially with the heat wave. I think it was perfect timing as well. Different stages, Afro-Tech stage. The one thing that I did struggle with though, have you been to Spring Fiesta before?
I've been very, very long time ago. And I remember the time it was just very, very house heavy. But I went with my boys because they were heavy, because it is catered to a lot of dance music.
Yeah.
But I had a good time.
Yeah.
And it was still at Wild Waters.
It's
at
still
the
at
time.
Wild Waters.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. So the thing about Spring Fiesta is it is dance heavy. So there's different stages. Like I said, this time there was an Afro-tech stage, there was a piano stage, there was a deep house stage, which was hosted by Kid Funk, as well as the main stage and the hip hop stage. Now the hip hop stage is the one stage that keeps on moving because there's different areas in Wild Waters where they can have these stages. This year, the hip hop stage was behind the main stage.
Behind?
Yeah, but that kind of makes sense though.
Very awkward. No, didn't make sense.
Look, I love hip hop, especially SA hip hop, but right now, I mean, it's a tough time for SA hip hop.
Oh, so you're saying that they must get the worst stage?
I mean, if I was a manager and they were like, yo, where we gonna put the hip hop? I'm like, behind the stage, boom. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, but I mean, think about it. Like, SA hip hop, as beautiful as it is and was right now, and I know you're a hip hop DJ.
The biggest song right now is a hip hop song. K.O.7.
Is it though?
Come on. Come on.
Look, if I go to the club, yes, I'll play AK and SCC. Oh, Zabaza,
Yeah.
cool. Yo, after that, Nukshangi piano, issue, cool. It's just what it is. And there's nothing wrong with it.
No,
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with
hip hop
it.
also took over from what was happening to house or home. It's eras in SA. But I get why that happened.
Yeah. For me, I think it wasn't even just a case of maybe nyatsaring the hip hop per se. I think it was just maybe they didn't know where to place it because they'd added an extra stage this year.
Yeah.
So all the places where they normally have stages had been occupied by the bigger genres, obviously deep house, piano, Afro-tech, and for them to then place hip hop where they placed it, I think maybe logistically they could have kind of re-looked at that particular part because what ended up happening was that was now the most emptiest floor, where you would go to all the other floors and they were packed with different people who were dancing to those different genres.
Oh.
Hip hop was slightly a bit tricky because it was right next to the main stage. So it's awkward because then I remember there was a point where I went to the hip hop stage and obviously the hip hop DJs are playing. And on the main stage, DJ Nell is there busy playing hip hop. I was like, but where are you gonna go? Are you gonna go to the main stage or are you gonna listen to the hip hop floor? You know what I mean? So it was just a bit tricky from that perspective. But Spring Fiesta back again, it was dope.
Hey man, shout out to Spring Fiesta. We know now we're back in festival mode, like we've been saying the last few weeks. It's good to see all these outdoor events coming back in a really, really big way.
Yeah.
As we're talking right now, of course, Daisies is also happening. So
Yeah.
that's dope. Spring Fiesta, this hip hop situation, it's funny. Look, I hear what you're saying, right? And we have this recurring conversation every time here about hip hop, and it's trying to resurge, and it's been doing much better now this year than it has probably in the past 2 years. You know what I'm saying? The Oaks are fighting and trying to release new music, and some things are bubbling up. But putting it right next to that main stage right there, I don't know. It's like
that's
behind. Hey, man, nowadays Spring Fiesta was like, you know what? We don't even know. You know what I'm saying? We're not even like a hip hop guy. We're trying to accommodate hip hop people because we want to be like an all-inclusive festival, whatever. But to put it right there feels like, I mean, I'm trying to picture it because I wasn't there of how it went down.
It was literally right next to it. The main stage is here. The hip hop stage was there. It was, I wasn't happy with where it was placed. And of course, as a hip hop fan, that's what I'm going to mention. However, I mean, it is what it is. They needed to find a space, and that was the space that they were
Behind
given.
the stage.
Hey man, you know what? Like, there's nothing you can do. Like you're saying, on the house and home, they had that time where they were going a little bit behind on the charts. Everything hip hop had its moment where it exploded into Africa, and those guys had to go back and rethink their own way to get back into popular market. Because at the end of the day, we kind of are fighting similar markets, not even though it's not the exact same. But now hip hop has to like rethink itself as well.
Exactly.
They have to reinvent.
Reinvent
I'm saying,
the word.
re-energize,
Yeah,
whatever. And you have
yeah.
guys like Bokeo who are like, we're still here, we're still pushing, and he's having that success. And everybody else who's coming in and trying to inject new energy into it has that responsibility.
Yeah.
It's just there's no time to complain now. This is if you find your stage there, you find your stage there, so you must rock how you rock. Then you must go back and think, how do we get back on top? How do we get back to being very relevant, very respected, and you know what I'm saying?
How do you
Beyond
beat
the hip hop,
Amapiano? Say it direct, my nigga.
Yeah.
And look, Amapiano, to me, to a certain extent, it's not hip hop, but it is. When I listen to these cats speaking, they rapping, B.
Do you know half
Young
of those,
Stunner.
all those people started on hip hop?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody started.
Which is why KO can just slip into it.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a discussion.
Absolutely.
So it's not really reinventing yourself. It's how do I
How do I maneuver?
realign? Yeah.
But that's a kiss to speaking about how we we're in South Africa at the end of the day, and we know that we're a dance country.
Yeah.
We know locally, if you're able to speak to ordinary South Africans in the language, in the style, in the culture that they understand, they gravitate towards that music. We're already always waiting to jump onto. So like, it's not like hip hop is doing so well musically that we're ignoring it. That's not what's happening. There's a disconnect. When Costa or pumping, aka Cassper, KO, where those guys carried that thing that spilled over to the rest of the genre, where it sounded like, oh, I think we have an authentic kind of sound now. You know what I'm saying? People gravitated towards that because it sounded South African. As soon as it started sounding like everything else, people moved away.
Yeah.
And Amapiano, they came in there. Don't know that they bring the raps, but they brought the culture because they look like hip hop dudes. Yeah. Sometimes they even rap on what sounds like hip hop tracks. You know what I'm saying? They sound and talk like hip hop guys, but they connect with people because they know what South Africans mean. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy. We know dance music. Now they fuse the culture of hip hop into dance music, which is what Amapiano is at the end of the day. It's so easy. So hip hop now is sitting there going, who are we?
Who are we? We are behind the main stage.
What are we doing?
That's
you know what I'm saying? Do we also want to do a TikTok challenge? You see guys releasing hip hop and trying to do TikTok challenges because they don't know where to fall now. Who are we? What do we sound like? What do we? You know what I'm saying? So people are having to reinvent themselves or just going like, hey guys, you already have the skill and the talent, but what are you doing with it?
Ish. The tricky part is we deserved a better spot as Big Fiesta. That's all I'm gonna say.
Behind the scenes was not right.
Behind the main
you have
stage
a girl Miss Cosmo out here on the corner stages.
Not the one, but I do believe that they'll relook at it and we'll see where they're gonna place us next year. We'll see. Talking about big events and sold out shows, Makhadzi sold out her one woman show. Woo. One woman show at Makhadzi Stadium in Limpopo. I think the stadium takes about plus minus 8,000 people, if I'm not mistaken. Big support came through for her, and she also had a lot of her people from Limpopo obviously supporting that event. And I think it's also just a big shout out just to say that artists can pull off a big show like that if you focus on exactly what you are trying to put on. And yeah, man, you know, let's keep on supporting more women who are putting on big events like this as well. Yeah, because that's also the tricky part. Sometimes you'll find that big lineups and big headlines, people will be like, oh, but where am I going if I'm only just going to see this one person? And I think the support needs to be a little bit, like similarly to how we were having the conversation last week about Moonchild, where sometimes women feel like if they're the only name, that maybe they might not draw a crowd and they need to add extra people to kind of be there. Sometimes it just needs one name for you to say, okay, let's go. We're buying tickets because we believe in what she's doing.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to her. That's a great, it's great to see how well she's doing. And she definitely just needs more support because she's got her own lane.
Yeah.
And she murders it.
That. Yeah.
She's got her own lane and she murders it. And building up or taking from the conversation we had last week, just speaking about women needing more support in the industry, it's beyond the support that they get from their fans. Because she has the success, right? Yeah. And it's not about everybody must listen to their music, but it's about everybody must show some respect.
Yeah.
And people, and mainstream media must be able to give her daps in that way. So you need to be able to switch on a radio show and hear, doesn't matter where you are. Because at least even what she did, my guys, Makhadzi is selling out an entire stadium, you know what I'm saying? And that's a dab. At least you know these things are happening because she's part of the culture. It's not about you bumping the music if maybe that doesn't connect with you, but it's about bigging her up, her achievements, and speaking about them in real time. Not because if you ask a lot of people now, you'd be like, Makhadzi sold out what? Her own one-woman show. People don't know it, but they don't know it because no one is talking about it.
I think with that is the problem that South Africans wait for the world to tell us what's hot, even though it's in South Africa. You get what I mean? Like Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Like it was just a song until you saw people internationally going crazy. All of a sudden, it's a good idea. Why do you need confirmation from the rest of the world to know what's happening here?
Even the dance challenge wasn't created here. It was created internationally.
Overseas, exactly. South Africans are always looking out there, but the world is looking at Africa right now. Right? And we're so busy looking there, trying to do what's happening. No, Tagi. Makhadzi because she's Makhadzi.
Yes.
Her own lane is her own lane. I won't lie, like I've listened to a couple of her songs, but I can't really say that I know her music, right? Because I'm also looking over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the issue with us. I think we gotta wake up on that.
We need to definitely put a lot of love and support behind our own people because as Tools is mentioning, the rest of the world is appreciating it. We don't want it to get too far to the point where we can't even afford booking these people anymore because the world wants them. More black coffee. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
You know what I mean?
Okay? All right. Talking about events and big things happening. Fill Up is back. And this time, it's heading all the way to Mafikeng at Makhadzi Stadium, 3rd of December. If there's one person who doesn't stop. He's just like, okay, on to the next one. After the fight, he said, okay, next announcement. There's another announcement. Did you see there was even the advert for Biliato, which I thought was a really dope concept as
on the
well.
plane, right? Yes.
So crisp. I thought it was so clean. Shout outs to Cassper and his team. That advert is fire. But also big ups on the fact that Philip is back. I think, especially, again, events had taken a hiatus, and I love that he's taking it home because I think it's been a long time coming. He's tried to go to different places, and I think the team was always kind of focused on, okay, where else can we go so that we can solidify Casper's place in the markets, in those different places when you went to Durban, when you went to Bloemfontein, or when you went to... what was the other? Rustenburg, yes, that's the one. So I'm happy that he's actually taking it home, bringing it back again. Mabatu Stadium, I think the people need this one. And no shade on Prince of Maftown, but he needed to up the scale a little bit.
Absolutely. I think it's been definitely a long time coming. Possibly something that he would have done sooner outside of COVID. I think the next national destination was Mafikeng Stadium to go and do that. And I'm actually not sure what the capacity of Mafikeng Stadium is, considering I'm from Mafikeng.
I was actually going to ask you, like, my brother, are you going to take a trip home?
How big is it? How big is it? Like,
it's a pretty big stadium, and I don't know if you guys must just Google it so you can see what it's like. But if you know the stadium in Mabopane, that stadium with that looks like it has shoulders and different seating. Mafikeng Stadium is almost exact replica of that because it was built by the old guy Mangope and whatever. Same, they're pretty much identical stadiums. So if you wanna, but otherwise just Google Mafikeng Stadium so you guys can see it, feel. But it's a really big stadium. Vodacom Challenge, Chiefs and Pirates used to happen there back in the cut. So I'm happy that it's going there. It is a really, really. I think it's upward somewhere between 30 and 50,000. I want to say maybe even a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But just to be safe.
It says here the stadium holds 59,000.
59,000. So there you go.
That's pretty huge.
It's a very, very big stadium. So, and tickets are quite reasonably priced from what I saw, starting from 150 up to like 350 Golden Circle. So I think it's fair. And first of all, shout out to Cassper, man, in terms of like his work ethic. Cassper doesn't matter whether you like him, disagree with him. That man is just not lazy.
Yes.
And doesn't make excuses for himself. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, that guy's gonna be in front of your face working. Whether you are receiving the work, whether you like it, he doesn't give you a chance to say, "Where's Cassper? Where's Cassper gonna?" He's there. He's making ads, his drinks, his BT,
knocking people out.
Maybe socks tomorrow, caps. Who knows? He just sits at home and he just says, "What can I do next?" He's not lazy, and he feeds the culture. He feeds his fan base. Fill up his bag. He didn't think, "Will I fill up the stadium? Is it too soon? Is it too what?" But he doesn't say any of those things. He says, "I want to do this thing. I'm gonna task my fans with supporting me. Whether we sell out one ticket or 100,000, let's just see."
So here's the question with that. Why do we, as South Africans, right, always find a reason to hate on it?
Hey man, I think once you reach that pinnacle of success, you're definitely gonna get a lot of people attacking you. And some of the things we could all agree on certain things. Like I said, it's personality versus the person. Another time. Sometimes people are like, "I don't like his personality. I don't like the fact that he complains all the time on Twitter. I don't like some of the things that irritate me as well." You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I can say that and also still say the success speaks for itself. His track record speaks for itself. His work ethic speaks for itself. His contribution to this culture speaks for itself. There's things you simply cannot take away from it. And sometimes someone can rub you up the wrong way. We're talking about Kanye West offline. You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to do A, B, and C, and you support it, but then you don't support the way that he goes about it. So that the duality of people sometimes always attacks us, and we're thinking about it. Where do we fall here? How do we support somebody without seeming as if, they say separate the man and the art? Sometimes it's hard, you know what I'm saying? So you bundle up together, you're like, I don't feel this person, so fuck them and their art. Sometimes you're like, but this thing is dope. How do you even keep quiet? Sometimes you meet people like, but this thing he did is dope. But it seems like people are against him. How do we draw the line?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But it's also social media. Social media is toxic. I think we've all agreed at the fact that Twitter on its own is just a hellhole, number one.
Twitter.
And if you're going to comment on something, it always just feels, or social media thinks that if you have a negative comment, it's going to run faster than a positive comment. And it's not to say that people don't like him, because he's got a huge fan base. People, if you were to ever post or tweet anything about Cassper, watch. The brigade is going to come at you and say, don't tell me, that's my man, we're going to support him, what. There'll be just as much people defending him as there are people who are possibly agreeing with a negative comment. So I don't think people hate him. I think it's just which side of the sword do you want to fall on? I respect him as a human. I respect him as a businessman. I respect him as an artist. I think he is, again, the work ethic is just what you need to appreciate. That guy knows what he's doing.
And it's always clean.
Yes.
Yeah? Down to the boxing.
Yes.
Down to the tracks. Like, it's too
He takes himself
clean.
seriously.
Yeah.
It's very important.
You know what
and,
I mean?
and you can sit here and talk a lot about what he does, and then you can talk about a lot of people trying to replicate it and not doing as well.
And failing.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys try to do exactly what he's doing, and they fail.
I went to the first Celeb City, right?
Yeah.
And he lost to Knock Music, right?
Yeah.
And there was pictures on Twitter, like him getting, but I was like, this guy made so much money.
Yeah.
And you guys are laughing because he lost a fight? What?
Also, he put out an entire spectacle at Sun City. So we can always look at the negative part and be like, oh, you put on the fight and you got knocked the fuck out. But then it's like, you put on the fight at Sun City.
Yeah, dog.
You know, that entire resort was yours for the weekend to sell tickets.
That's
Who knows how much
Vegas.
success you had, how much you sell, the risk that he constantly takes.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, we have to be very, very honest at the same time. Sometimes, yes, people do rub us the wrong way, and you may find out about somebody, but if we speak about somebody's entire career and what they actually do on a day-to-day, it's constantly contributing positively to the culture. Whether you have a personal squab with them or industry beefs, what, we know those chats keep going. He brings them up himself. That's whatever. But at the end of the day, you can't take away from the work. And if you want to do that, then we must start taking away from everybody else's work.
Yes,
because so many people are out here trying to replicate what he's doing, and so many of them are constantly failing. Let's keep it 100.
Right.
That man, he's about to do a fill-up. This is the 6th or 7th fill-up. Stadium shows. Stadium shows. Not a single
not a
hip-hop
club.
act.
Not a club.
Not a single hip-hop act has even dared to replicate that. They're scared.
Yes.
They're scared to say, let me book something out and let me try and sell out 50,000. They don't want to do it. Not a single one of these guys have been inspired to do it. They're scared. What is it? Is it not fair?
I'd be afraid too.
I'd be afraid too.
Because if you host a fill up and it's not filled up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he does that. He had that fight. People were commenting that he's fighting pretty ugly in a semi-empty place. He still continued. He will do another one. None of those things will ever deter him. Yeah. But those other guys are scared to be called out for failing because that deters them. They'll try it once, they fail, they'll never try it again. Yeah, this guy will keep going. Some of those fill-ups, he said that he's lost money. Yeah. But he's just never stopped.
And that's what I appreciate that as well. I appreciate the fact that he's just got this, I need to up my last achievements. I need to make sure that I keep on going. And sometimes it's also difficult even for his team because Cassper maybe today will talk about, I want to, I don't know, do a fill-up in maybe the whole of Sun City, maybe the whole weekend. And maybe they've spoken about it, but they haven't really decided on a date or whatever. This guy will just tweet it. Everybody needs to gather up now with the team and say, well, the news is out. Let's go.
So let's check
because
what's
for
happening,
him, he challenges himself constantly and trying to take things to the next level, which not a lot of people have that gut. You know what I mean? He's fearless. And that's something that we can all appreciate, whether you like it or not. But
and I'd be happier if a lot of people tried harder at challenging him or complimenting him as an artist. You know what I'm saying? It's not about doing better. Yeah. If he did F&B, let me build another stadium twice as big. And no. You can also do a fill-up F&B and you can say this guy inspired me. Yeah. Like those artists in Limpopo, I forget his name, but he saw fill-up and he actually called it fill-up as well. And there was that back and forth.
Wasn't it King Monada?
I think it was King Monada, but it might have been somebody else who I don't know.
King Monada,
But other artists who want hip hop like saw that and they're like, I also want to do a fill up. Like they were immediately inspired and they did that and he was like, people are stealing my concept. But it was like, those guys were bigging up, they're like, what you did this, so like, let's go.
Yes.
Want to sell out 20,000 in Limpopo somewhere, where we're from. Hip hop artists quiet. And you know what that is? It's purely ego.
It is.
Because they looked at it like, that's what I want. But not a single one of them wants to go after it.
He's not waiting for sponsors. He's not waiting for somebody to kind of come in and then say, okay, well, maybe we'll write you a check to make this thing happen. And that's why I'm talking about him being fearless, because it takes a lot of guts for you to say, I've got an idea, I'm going to put my own money behind it, whether you like it or not, it's going to succeed. And it does. So
absolutely. And Supersport pulled out of that fight last minute. That's why they ended up going on ESPN or something like that. But things like that happened and it didn't deter him.
Also, ending up on ESPN is not a bad thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Ending up.
Like I called Rihanna and she didn't pick up, but then Beyonce texted me.
Yeah,
it's like, what's up, B? It's not a bad day.
No, man, big ups to him, man. Of course, tickets are going to be on sale, and the date for the fill-up is on the 3rd of December. So maybe you can start preparing. Maybe you want to jump in a car. Maybe you can ask Sipo if you can Airbnb his mother's house. We'll figure it out.
Actually, hit me up, guys. Hit me up. I got a crib on that side. It's nice. You can fill up my house.
Fill up the house, dude.
That's where the after party is. Sipos, let's go. All right, something else that happened this past week, of course, Rings of Power episode 7, officially out on Friday. The episode is called The Eye, and some say that it is referring to the Eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know, especially coming from episode 6 and how we had spoken about the action finally happened. There was finally some fight scenes. Coming into episode 7 is like a recollection. Now everybody's trying to gather themselves. They're trying to see, okay, cool. This whole big war happened. Where to from here? What is our direction? And I think, if anything, a lot of the storylines are kind of coming together, and all the plots to kind of lead up to the Southlands and Mordor. So. Yeah, what did you think of episode 7?
Yeah, episode 7 caught me by surprise. Right off the high octane of episode 6, things slow down again. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so something that was irritating me in episode 7 was that, you know, you have all what's happening in the Southlands and Mordor being created, and this volcano erupting, and this big pool of ash at this. And things are burning. Like, this place is burning to the ground, but everyone is chilling.
And everyone's surviving.
I'm like, what is everyone just chilling like it's just a breezy day outside?
Why is nobody dying?
They're literally in hell at this stage. But they're not talking about it. It's just people are just wiping ash off their faces. They're just having a conversation. It's like, guys, let's address the real things.
Yeah.
So coming off how great, especially cinematically, episode 6 was, episode 7 was again, they just took the foot off the pedal a little bit and just decided, let's just, because there's one more episode to go, which is the season finale, episode 8. And they're like, yeah, let's go back to talking again.
Yeah.
They love
Let's go back to the chats.
They love a good chat there. And I'm like, okay, clearly episode 8 will be where they leave us on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how everything else ties in with Mordor being created now. Maybe this storyline will move a little bit to dealing with the Halfwoods and the elves and seeing how they'll be integrated into the next one. Because they do play a big part, even though they've been a little bit dull in this series. So I think maybe they'll try to tee those guys up to see what's going to happen. But the episode itself, I just felt was back to talking. And it wasn't even saying the most important things, or like deep ass conversations. You know what I'm saying? But one of those like, and then when
it just felt like bickering.
Yeah, it was like, we fought. No? This fighting thing. So episode 8, I hope they close up the season with a little bit of like deep interest to it. To make us look forward to what will obviously take a while to make in season 2. But man, so far it has been one of those, let's keep going, let's keep going. They take the story they move the storyline 10 feet forward and then take it back 10 feet, you know. So it's been very interesting. It's definitely been a roller coaster of a season so far. I'm hoping that this one ends up with a cliffhanger right at the top of the cliff. So at the next season 2 at Kala, we can start this thing all over again.
And go into the roller coaster.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yes, there definitely was a lot of chats. There was a lot of conversations. But I think it is important also just for setting the scene. And I constantly say this in every space that we have on Twitter with our people, as well as that. We must also remember that season 1 is always kind of just like laying the playing field, because all the action is gonna come. Season 2, season 3, we need to leave something for the upcoming season. So just from a storyline perspective, I do think some of the conversations were also starting to make sense in what they were saying in episode 7. But of course, you can join us again as well every single Thursday. So this Thursday, please do join us as well from 7 p.m. Prime Video ZA is the Twitter handle. We will be hosting a space and having a conversation just about how you felt about episode 7 and possibly where episode 8 is going to take us as well. And big ups to our people who keep logging in. Apologies also because load shedding was also knocking us out. So our signal was just doing funny things when we were trying to log in, but eventually we did have the conversation. Kanyiso Karabo always coming through with the facts and the chats with regards to the space as well. More people also kind of chimed in. I love the fact that Shaz was also in, kind of giving her opinion on episode 6. So please do join us again this week.
Yes, sir. Can't wait for it.
Indeed. All right. So with that, we are going to jump straight into our unpopular questions for this week. So Tools, we have a beautiful hat here. And we've got some questions that we haven't seen because they've been drafted by our producers. And
I'm gonna let you.
You can actually pick the question. Just take one out of the hat.
So how does this work? I take one and I gotta
read
answer
it. Yeah. As honestly as possible.
Alright.
No biting your tongue, my brother.
Whose handwriting is this? Oh my goodness. There hasn't been a new breakout artist in hip hop in 5 years. Why is that so?
Hey, hip hop is taking a bashing today. I'm sorry, guys.
Yo, can I answer that? Because I just read it. I think hip hop is following the same formula. Earlier on, you said AKA's song is the biggest. It is, but it's the same concept. Find an old song, sample it, get a cool artist, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it. AKA is an amazing artist. He always will be, but yo, B, it's 2022. Why do you sound like 2014?
Yeah, I hear you.
That's my understanding, or at least reasoning.
Well, I would like to correct the timeline, firstly. 5 years, maybe a little bit tricky. I would possibly maybe say 3 years or 2 years because Blackie is actually an artist that came through in the past 3 years. He's the breakup artist. And even when we had him on pop radio and we had the conversation with him, it was also so like definitive that you needed to realize that when his album came out, it came out during the COVID time.
Yeah.
So he had all the success happening during COVID. He wasn't able to do like a full-on like performance tour run with his album. So everything is only happening post-COVID for him, and that's how I can at least attest to the timeline from that perspective. That no. Blackie's actually an artist who came through in the past 3 years, and he's doing the things.
He's too much.
So shout outs to him.
Definitely, Blackie is at the top of the list of breakout artists in hip hop. And you're right, the timeline, 3 years, definitely. If you go to pre-COVID, post-COVID, post-COVID, definitely it's Blackie.
Yeah.
And I'm saying he's the one other than
25K.
And 25K,
Lucas Traps.
And I'm talking because now we're saying breakout, we're talking about a star.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who came out and like did that thing, body of work, everything, and took over 25K as well. I definitely will say the formula of hip hop artists in this country, what you just said, is definitely true. The older guys are out of ideas outside of to do. I mean, we saw AKA did an entire album with Costa Titch. You know what I'm saying? That already was like
your favorite album.
Yeah, that already was just like clinging, just like trying to cling on to something.
That's
in the middle of, the pandemic was already happening, and then another pandemic happened with that album. You know what I'm saying? That was already like a show of utter desperation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, considering not only did they do that, but it was also like super, super terrible. You know what I mean? So things like that were already showing that the older guys don't know it too. And we've spoken about a bunch of the guys. No one else. So just at least AKA was putting out music and trying to do something. Cassper, there was something was trying to happen, but nothing really impactful. In fact, for most of the pandemic, I think he was towards the Amapiano side. Only now he's getting back to hip hop, right? Who else? None of the other guys were participating, really. You know what I'm saying? So there's not much to talk about in terms of like what the older guys were doing or the more established artists were doing, especially during the pandemic. A lot of them were like, this is not our time anymore. So that's why the young kids are not very inspired to like, they don't know what to follow. They don't know who to they don't know how to break into the industry by maybe going in with the khutmaniana, let me tag. It just seems like the same formula. And with the AKA formula, he said, I'm not going to try anything new.
I'm going to do what I know.
I'm going to do what used to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue that formula until I strike something. And he struck something with this Lemonade, mainly because of Nasty C's verse.
Yes.
Take Nasty C out of that song, I'll never listen to it again.
Whoa.
It's that simple.
Yo,
you know what I mean? Let's just keep it 1,000.
Yeah.
What is AKA saying on that track?
100,000, B.
He's saying nothing on that track. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a bad song. It's just so average that for an artist who's that talented, it's actually below average.
You know, with that being said, I feel like we don't give enough love to KO.
Oh, hey, yeah, we do.
He's so consistent.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to change genres. He's just, dog, think about it.
Yeah.
No, KO is the dude.
I feel like he's the Drake of SA.
100%. And you know, sometimes with what you were saying about the new artists is that they don't really have a direction or don't really know which who
to follow.
Yeah. And the tricky part about it is that that's why now a lot of them are also even deviating and maybe even going into a piano because it seems like the easier direction to kind of take. And if you speak to any of these piano artists or you speak to anybody who is in another genre, they'll tell you at some point in their lives they actually were a hip-hop artist. It's either they played hip-hop as a DJ or maybe they wrote a couple couple of songs, or they used to be in a rap group, or something in them inspired them to be in hip hop, and then they were like, something's getting a bit tricky here. Maybe let me just redirect and see what's happening on the other side. And that's sad, because we want to at least make hip hop comfortable enough for people to say, this is the genre I'm going for 110%.
Yeah, man, I just don't think Oaks are making the music that they want to make. They're just not making the music that they want to make. They're making the music that they think will work.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what you do. You make music for the audience.
Yeah,
right?
I understand that part of it. You're like, especially if you're signed or whatever, they're gonna ask you, where's the radio single? You know what I'm saying? How are we gonna get people excited? Where's the song for the summer? Where's the thing that's relevant? That connects with what's going on right now. People listen to you and be like, okay, this is where what's gonna get people going? You know what I'm saying? As a hip hop artist, you can't just DMX it up every time. You know what I'm saying? You better not connect with people. I get that. Where my dogs at? Sharp. I get it. You need something to vibe with. But guys aren't being inventive.
Yeah.
You know, guys aren't taking any sort of risks, because it seems like the risks don't pay off. According to them, they're like, every time we rap, you guys don't say.
And we as the audience are ready to laugh, though.
We're ready to laugh, we're ready to attack, we're ready, but like also we're ready for dope shit.
Yeah.
Above all else, we're ready for dope shit. So you cannot take that away. This shit is dope. I don't want to sit here and like block off hot shit. Yeah. Like I don't want to listen to hot music. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
All Miss Cosmo wants to do is go out there and play hot music, everything. Yeah. But if you don't give it to her, my brother, she has to, you know what I'm saying, go back and play something from your old album.
Exactly.
Because the new shit ain't popping.
And then it becomes trickinyana.
Damn.
Hey man, just go back into the studio and give us some hot stuff. That's what Sipho says. Hey? I'm mad at it. Talking about that, we're going straight into some new music that dropped this past week. So, we've got new music coming through from Elaine, Costa Titch, who's featuring Diamond Platinums, also Don Ayo, who is an Afrobeats DJ, and Joda Hossi. So, let's start with your fave. Sipho's favorite person in the whole world. New song, Superstar. The video, Clean. Costa Titch featuring Diamond Platinums. How are we feeling about the tune?
The video is nice, I guess. But as you guys know, I don't want to even like mince my words or get in between anything. But to say, Oguti, you know how I feel about the way that he makes his art. I don't respect the fact that he just finds Venek ad-libs, makes that his entire identity. It's not your identity to make hits, to make these niggas dance and laugh and jiggle around the stage. I don't like that shit. I don't respect it in any way, shape, or form. The song is a solid 0 out of 10. I give it a 1 out of 10.
Not even one?
That I'm a piano beat. And Diamond Platinum actually sucks on it as well. I don't think he was nice. You know what I'm saying? But maybe I just don't like Diamond Platinum. I don't understand his genre of music. So this is a collaboration between two people I don't understand. One who I just don't respect as an artist personally. Yeah. And that's not even on some hate shit. People see this and they think that I'm boiling and I want to fight this guy. I'm angry. I'm just like, Costa Titch, whatever that you're doing, you can do it and you can speak in English. You only do the Venek thing because you're trying to connect with black people, and I don't respect that. Okay. Because there's black kids doing what they're naturally good at and they don't get the recognition that they deserve. But a white kid, nail spray farmer from, you know what I'm saying, comes through, does that shit, and then you guys get excited about that shit. I don't respect it at all. You know what I'm saying? And I've got no problem with that guy. I'm sure he's a sweet gent. People be like, but he's such a nice guy. What are you going to do? He's just out here trying to do his own thing. Nothing.
That's tricky because as South Africans, what we saw is being a rainbow nation, right? And the concept of being a rainbow nation is having a white person speaking Vernac comfortably.
But they don't though. They must speak Vernac. They must learn our languages and speak it the way we speak English. That's respect. No, nigga. No, he absolutely does not.
So Sipho's issue is that he's getting obviously a ghostwriter to help him with certain words.
Oh,
and it becomes
and
basically it's like, for him it feels like it's like clickbait. Do you understand? Because you're using catchphrases
to catch these niggas.
Catch attention.
And he's catching them, man.
Exactly. And on paper, it just seems like, come on, man. He just made a dance track. Sipho, relax. It's just people are having fun, right? Yeah. It's not. It's
Let me ask you this then. Why do you think so many of these cats that are a part of this whole thing, I mean, Ricky had a song with him.
Yeah.
R.I.P. AKA did a whole entire album with him. Why do you think these people are moving towards him if that's the case?
I mean, Ricky always supported the kids, you know what I'm saying? And he was not going to not support. A lot of the guys in hip-hop personally let me down, honestly, by supporting Costa Titch. Because I feel like they should have called him out. They should have, including Ricky, R.I.P. to him, big homie, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, it's just one of those things. People didn't discuss that entire situation enough and really analyze what it was actually doing. It's not doing a service to South African hip-hop artists that speak in Vernac. It's not.
I hear you.
It just isn't in any way, shape, or form, and he's not doing it in a nice way. So let's do that. The music is not dope, first of all.
So you want him to release music, but he must do everything in English.
Yeah, and learn our languages properly, guys.
Okay.
If I wanted to connect to the Afrikaans market and I started just throwing away Meitani, young pyramid, African people will look at me like, you know what I'm saying? African people will look at me like, this guy doesn't respect us. And you guys know that. If I started doing that to connect to the Afrikaans market, they'd be like, this guy thinks we're fucking fools.
Yeah.
But a white guy does that, and he does you guys, and you guys think that shit is dope.
And it's okay.
It's the exact same insult.
Yeah.
What's the term? Black appropriation?
It's cultural appropriation.
Of
the highest level from the shortest guy.
Damn.
Wow. Anyway, I think the music video is really dope. If you go and check it out, whoever had shot the music video, big ups to you. Your job was super clean. With regards to the song, I think I was also just a little bit like, it could have been better. The catchphrases were the things that were kind of
Couldn't have been better.
throwing me off a little bit. But I didn't think it was terrible, if I have to be honest. It was just the way it was written. Maybe I'm not so much. But the energy is good, the beat is dope, the video is dope as well. Go and check it out. Costa Titch featuring Diamond Platinum Superstar.
Can I just say something again to add to that?
I went to Costa.
I want to say, you see the formula that you're saying about AKA? He's following the same formula.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like I said, when I first heard Costa Titch and I heard in Kalagata, I was like, oh, cool. He's doing the one track just to let guys know, Guti.
I'm out here.
I'm out here and I respect the streets or whatever. I'm chilling with I'm just trying to connect. As one track, I thought that was just the one track. And that he'd just go back to being himself. Every track.
But the thing
that's why it lost me personally.
But when something works for you the
Stick
first
to
time,
it.
you're gonna stick to it. When there's a formula that works, you're going to continue.
Your entire career cannot be an insult to black people. I'm sorry.
Tricky.
Anyway,
moving on. Elaine has a brand new song. It's also called Fading Away. Did you listen to it?
I did. I am such a huge fan of Elaine.
Yeah.
Like, my goodness. And I feel like South Africans are sleeping on her.
You really do?
Yeah.
Do you think people aren't giving her flowers or not giving her the love that she needs? Because the South Africans are the ones who actually gave her attention in the first place.
I think we gave her attention, but to a certain extent. Now she's working internationally a lot, but until we get the acclaim where, internationally we're like, oh! Once there's that thing that happens overseas, we're not watching her as much as we're supposed to be. You get what I mean? I'll take it back to the song. Trevor Noah was an SA, he was just another comedian. Until he got that big gig.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, yo, Trevor! You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like Elaine is a goddess. She's talented. Her music is clean.
Yeah.
This brand new song is equally clean. I don't know. He's looking at me like he's going to say, nigga, nah.
No, we've been talking about Elaine quite a few times on the show. And no, what I was thinking about it is that I'm trying to understand where Elaine is trying to fall in. She's a supreme talent. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she's just still bubbling under. And now, like the music that she's making right now versus that first EP that made us all fall in love with her, it feels like it's not matching up there yet. You know what I'm saying? And some of it, sometimes I feel like, is it sounding too mature? It's not the word, because even her other EP was a mature for someone her age. But something about this, I like this song better than her other single that she dropped a few weeks ago. Deja Vu. So I like this better than Deja Vu, first of all. I feel like, oh, this had a nicer vibe to it. And I feel like Elaine just needs something to like connect with the culture a little bit better.
Okay.
In her R&B, in the way that she's doing. I think her getting signed maybe stifled her a little bit. Yeah. Now she has to move very professional, you know what I'm saying? Because labels don't just let you throw music out. They don't just let you jump on any feature.
Decision.
It's a decision now. I think that decision has maybe constricted her and what else she could be doing. Because I feel like she should be flying freely a lot more and showing her talents on different types of songs, different types of features. Because now it sounds like she's just sticking to one sound and is a little bit in a bit of a bubble. It's not bad. It just feels like it's too controlled. Yeah. Is what I'm saying. And I feel like she has so much more to break out and release and be a young girl. What is she, 23? Or something like that, 24?
She definitely sounds like she's much older.
And if you look at her social media profile, how she moves like a pretty...
Everything is clean.
Everything is clean, but also it's too clean. You know what I mean?
and
It's too
sometimes you
clean.
gotta get dirty.
Sometimes you gotta be a young girl. You gotta be young with waffles and play a little bit.
It's
You know what I'm saying? And act your age. So people can be like, that's a young girl who's having a good time.
So you wanted to post on her stories and she's having a drunk night. So what do you want her to do?
No, I'm just saying, I just feel like she has more personality to show.
Okay.
And she should be given the freedom to show that. Because that will help the music connect a lot better.
Oh, okay.
Because now it just feels like we're getting hard, cold music.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I made this R&B jam, consume it.
Yeah.
There's no story behind it. There's no falling in love with the character. There's no story.
Also, we haven't had time to get to know her.
You know what I mean? She left
She just
immediately.
blew up and she's gone. I get that.
You have to know somebody. You feel like, I know this girl. Now we feel like we're just getting music from an artist who feels like they're overseas, and then we can connect with them. You know what I mean? I feel like she just needs to have, and I think it will come. She will have her moment where South Africans love Elaine before they even press play. They're like, we love Elaine.
Yeah.
And now let's see
waiting for her.
Let's see what she has to say.
Yeah.
Right now we're getting the music first and not the person.
We need just a little bit more of a personal touch.
Just a little bit.
I 100% agree with that. I do feel like she needs to give us a little bit more youth in her overall brand positioning, as opposed to just, the music is out. Talking about the song itself, I also felt a little bit like, okay, same thing, just another one. Okay, cool.
Another one.
It all just feels like the same song, the same formula. Yeah. It's not a bad song. I think her vocals are great. I love how they produced the song. It's just, for me, I'm not connecting with her music anymore because it just feels like we're all in one box. Nothing is changing. Give us diversity, give us versatility, give us, just shake us up a little bit. Do something exciting. TikTok challenge, nyana, something. Yeah.
I'm a piano,
Let's go. Come on. But I do want a little bit more for Elaine because I do think she's being stifled. She could give us more.
I love her, man. I'm a fan, so.
But
I'm a fan too. I just want more from her. Do you know what I mean?
It's the youthfulness, Bella, which when you see like you have a cold exterior because nobody actually knows you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But over time, I think she'll find that rebranding thing. I make an example of Bonang. There was a time where Bonang just seemed like a hard ass in South Africa, like no one could touch her.
Yeah.
She didn't have a social media like profile, and then she softened up when she did that reality show, and then she started having these, and people started seeing her fun side, and then suddenly she wasn't that hard exterior. She wasn't too clean anymore. She seemed like she was just spoke like everybody else. She did the same thing as everybody else. We've never seen that side to her, and prior to that reality show, and subsequently those small videos started trending. People started clipping them up. Those things helped to kind of rebrand her and soften her up, because now she seemed like she was just sitting in an ivory tower, didn't connect with people, and then only people who were around her would be like, tell her, oh no, she's a chill person. She's nice. She's whatever. What she portrayed online didn't seem that way at the time. She softened up, and now people know her. Even if they see her, they probably scream Bonang's name from across the street. Queen B, and she'll probably wave back. There was a time when people felt like, I don't know if I'll say something on me. She might diss me. She might seem. You get to know the person because it's just a small little rebrand. A small just relaxanyana. Connect with the people. Suddenly your brand becomes that everybody can relate to. Even as a person who's like a very high-end luxury brand, she seems way more relatable she did right now than she did several years ago.
100%. I agree with that. All right, coming up with the new show. Listen to me. All right, coming up with a new song now. Don Ayo is an Afrobeats DJ. This is his first single, and he's coming through with a song called Your Body, featuring Wave Dave on the tune. What are you thinking about the vibes? More summertime, more Afrobeats, more.
That's exactly
let's shake a
what
tail
I'm at.
feather. Let's go.
I know Ayo started DJing quite recently. He got into it maybe during the pandemic. Started throwing himself out there. He put himself out there by doing some mixes. He used to mix Afrobeat songs together. He'd ask people to show him, suggest 2 songs, and then he'd try and mix them together on his Instagram or live on his channel. So he got into it that way, and he's been shown a lot of love by his immediate community, and now is growing as a DJ. Good to see him throwing around. Clearly the people he's with are not wasting any time. They're saying the popularity as it grows, the work ethic must just be there already, so let's put out the music. It is a little bit something different for, I guess, a young guy who's South African from Nigeria, or born in South Africa, but I know he's Nigerian. He's Nigerian, but he's lives in South Africa.
Yeah.
So whether he was born in Nigeria, grew up, but he's a Nigerian boy. Yoruba, I think even.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, man. It's good to see this step that he's taken. He's trying to carve his own lane as a Afrobeats dude, and it seems like it's working for him. This song, definitely a summer vibe.
Yeah.
So as you press play, it's got a, I don't know if there's maybe even a hint of piano nyana somewhere in there, but it's very, very enjoyable track. Shout out to him. Especially for your first single, shout out Donaya.
Yeah, I like the summertime vibe that's coming through, and of course doing something a little bit for the ladies, because people don't want to make music for the girls anymore. I don't know why, but big ups, Don Ayo. You guys definitely gave us something, you know, that we can play in the club as well, because that's what we want. We want something that we can play in different spaces, in the car, in the club, at an event. We just want to hear one song that's giving us joy in all different types of spaces, and this is one of those songs.
Look, I'm just a fan of Afrobeats, man. In general, I think SA took a while to jump on Afrobeats. Like, we took a while.
Yeah.
So as long as it's still pushing, I'm with it.
100%. Jodo Khosi has a new song as well, Don't Leave Me. It's featuring Tyson Cybertelli. I'm digging the song. It's got a bit of a
vibe to it.
A vibe, you know? And I like the direction she's taking with this tune. I like the features as well.
Shout out to Tyson as well.
It fits so nicely. It just sits the way that it was kind of produced as well. It's a dope song. Also got a you know, everything just looks like it's bright and sunshiny. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm getting out of these songs. So I'm loving it, man.
Yeah, I think it's a dope sound as well. Shout out to Tyson for jumping on this feature as well. He's also been busy and putting out some dope music. He's another artist who I feel like will have his moment. He's bubbling under, but definitely putting in the work. So yeah, I feel like this track is very well produced. I like the beat and just the entire vibe of it. I feel like one of those things that will grow on me. It's clean. It's very, very clean, man.
All right, so I guess that is it for our POPcast episode for today. Of course, please do join us on a Thursday for our space, 7 p.m. Prime Video ZA, where we will be unpacking episode 7 of Rings of Power. With that, my main man, Mochi.
That's right. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the content, leave a comment, let us know what you think. You can fight back with me, it's no problem. You can fight in the comments, no problem. Difference of opinion.
Hip-hop is coming for you.
Not a problem. I am a hip-hop, not just motherfucker. Sure. So that's why I speak on this thing, and I think I speak because I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's like no one will shout at you and tell you fucked up more than your mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, your parents. You know, but when they
beat you, but she love you.
When you get outside, she'll be like, she'll protect you at the same time. But when you're back at the crib, she's like, what the fuck were you doing? Out here embarrassing me? So that's this is what the fuck are you doing? Hip hop moments that I'm having, but I love hip hop, man, and I feel like it's
and also there's nothing wrong with wanting better for hip hop. I think people also tend to you know, confuse what is actually happening. They peg it as hate when it's not hate. I think it's more about demanding more from the people that we love so much, because we love the music and we love the culture. We just want better for it.
Don't take it personal when you hear your favorite artists, because nothing triggers you more than when you hear somebody that you love getting criticized. You watch this entire show, you agree, and then you get to one point, now I'm hating. The entire time I was spitting facts. But when I spoke to someone that you love, then I was hating. I wasn't hating when it was somebody that you didn't care about. Then it was facts. It was a great point. You saw my point of view. Suddenly you don't see your point of view when it's somebody that you love. And we're all like that as human beings. It's fine. But I want you guys to take a deep breath, relax, recalibrate, and then agree with me.
And like, comment, and subscribe. Tuz Madala, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Big shout outs to you. Welcome back to the radio space.
Thank you.
You took a little bit of a hiatus, and you know, you went to go and live in a house with cameras for 3 months. And then decided, you know what, maybe I'll go back to radio where they can't see me. How about that?
It's been great, man. I mean, first weekend, amazing. Feels good to be back. But I had so much fun being here. Like, y'all crazy, man. Like, it's you. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So for those who don't know, which radio station, where can we catch you?
Catch me on YFM 3 to 6. It's called Home Run with the Under MVP. I got you. You hear the sexy voice if you listen closely.
Yeah.
And on the socials?
Media?
Social media at Tools_Matala. Yeah, damn, I haven't dropped my handles in a while. Yeah, Tools Matala.
Yeah,
That's
man.
That's it, man.
And there you have it. And of course, a big shout outs to our venue for today, the Royale in Craig Hall.
Yes,
it is also, you know,
shout out until.
Shout outs to
we
Until
got a party now. I feel like it's vibing.
It's vibing outside now. My ears are tingling.
I think we're going to get a shot and make sure we join the vibe outside. So you can do the same. Come through to the Royale in Craig Hall. With that, check you again next week. And of course, we've got more of What Matters to Moochie and Real Views. Hey now, this is this week's episode of Real Views here on the POPcast. And I've been checking out a lot of shows that are on Prime Video, obviously because, you know, trying to see what the channel has to offer and the different types of shows. And because I'm a girl, typical Love Me a Rom-Com series. Come on with it. So I checked out The Summer I Turned Pretty, which was a little bit dramatic, but also gave us a little bit of flair. Typical high school drama, but about a family that goes on holiday, and you know how they do in America where they go somewhere for the summer. So this family goes to a particular house in Cousins, that's an area in the States, and they basically spend their summer going through different situations. One family member actually finds out that they've got cancer, others are growing up and becoming a debutante. So it's good to kind of see the different storylines unfolding on the show. Very sweet teen drama type of show. So if you're into that type of rom-com type of stuff, then you know this one's definitely for the ladies, because I know the guys aren't going to check it out, but I do think it is worth your time. 7 episodes, really sweet. Go and check it out. The Summer I Turned Pretty.